Hi everyone, Jasmine here from Level Up Consulting with the People First Projects podcast. Getting better. We are here with a pretty exciting topic today. It's about lessons learned. So those who have done Agile or have been in the project management space for a while, we do know that at the end of a project or the end of a stage or a gate, it can be a really insightful exercise to do lessons learned and to talk about what worked and what didn't work. But what's really unique about the way we work is that we are a team that are on multiple projects at any given time at different stages. And we tried something for the first time last week. And I know, Tom, you got a lot of value out of it. You were our scribe. Actually, I would like to see the notes. But what did we do? And I'd love to hear what you guys thought about that process.
What do? We did a lessons learned session. So sat down and everybody just brought up some things that have been going well on their projects and things that haven't been going so well, and just talked it through and kind of shared the knowledge that we're kind of getting with the rest of the group, so people can use that in their other projects, and together we can kind of grow as a team.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It was like cross-project collaboration. So even it was quite interesting. I don't know if you found this, Rochelle, that even though each project is quite unique and has a unique set of stakeholders and different team members on it, some of the learnings that we talked about could absolutely be applied to, other projects as well. And it's the first time we did that. Tom, do you think it was something worthwhile doing quite often?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think one of the things that came up was how important using some of the project management tools are, and using them well. I feel like it's easy sometimes to just fall into doing things because that's how it's done, and we use these tools because that's just the way we do it. But hearing how people are using them really effectively kind of drives home why they're important and how other people can be using them in the same way to get the results as well.
I interpret that as, Jasmine, you were saying to do things, but when I heard my peers say it was so much better.
No, not necessarily you saying it, but just, as...
Well, you're studying as well, right? So there'll be things that you're learning, and some of it's helpful, some of it's not, but to hear practical examples, I'm sure is really good to hear. And what about you, Rochelle? Were there any surprises or anything that you learned from
I think
peers?
for me it was just interesting hearing the similarities between each project, and how when things get complicated, it's really just the fundamentals that you just fall back on that get you through the really hard times, and then you can kind of be a little bit more creative in how you problem solve or go about the project. But it's, at the end of the day, it's the fundamentals that get you through and make sure that you're doing a good job. It's the fundamentals of making sure that you're clearly communicating, you've got logs, and all of that stuff is just it's the basic stuff, but it's crucial.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
So kind of like what Tom was saying, what are those things? Fundamentals with flair, I'm going to say, is what we should be doing. But it's interesting that you said about similarities, and we talked about this. So we've got, as I said, different clients, different projects, completely different, environments. But there are similarities. And it's quite funny. I don't know if there are any project sponsors watching this or project managers, but a lot of the time when I'm meeting with a new client or a new project, they all say, we have this very unique problem. And then they describe the problem and how we're going to tackle it in project management. And I think, it's this the same everywhere. We've got the formula, we take it off the shelf, we add that flair, as you say, and we've got that success formula. But it does change over time, which I think is a really good reason to have lessons learned sessions quite regularly. So we've booked them in for monthly, and we can share knowledge and try things and come back. A surprise for me, so for anyone that's done a PIR or lessons learned, is that you talk about what's going well, and that's why you write down your notes for continuous improvement. But I actually really like as well the what didn't go well or what's been frustrating us. And the reason I like that is because we can problem solve together as a team. We can give advice if people have experienced that issue before. We can help solve that puzzle together. I don't know, what did you guys think of that particular segment? Not to get too negative on the lessons learned, but it is important.
I think for me it was really interesting because I'm sort of I take a back seat with a lot of the stuff because I'm just like not just a coordinator, but I'm in the coordinator role, so I don't have a lot of the like, you know, problems or like I'm not dealing with the stakeholders as much, so it's sort of more of a backseat for me. But I found it really interesting, and I thought it was really valuable just as a team being able to be like, man, this is really hard, and everybody being like, yeah, been there, like it is really hard, but this is what I did, and like just as a team, like I think it really brought us together to be able to share the things that we're really struggling with, and everybody get behind us and be like, we can get through this. Like, yeah, I thought that was really, really valuable as a team to go through that. Yeah.
Nice. So it's like a team building exercise.
Yeah.
Mastered as lessons
Team
learned.
building
Yeah, I like
exercise,
that. Tom, any insights from you?
Yeah, I think it was really useful, and it's kind of useful going forward because people say, yeah, this is something that's not working well, and a problem we've run into, and this is kind of how we've got through it, but it kind of flags when, if that's coming up in your project, you might spot it a bit earlier because you're like, oh, this is what one of the other people were doing, and this is the kind of things they were seeing and where it got to before they fixed it. But if you can spot it a bit earlier, then you can head those problems off a bit more, and being able to take the problems other people are having and sort of extrapolate them into your own projects and be on the lookout for things is kind of really useful to keep things on track and prevent those issues from coming up.
Definitely. Something I'm very passionate about is, you know, enhancing the team and their capability and the way they deliver projects. And when we find something that works well, I like to lock it in, set it as process, and away we go. So we are now doing this on a monthly basis during our team meeting time once a month, which I'm very excited about. But something you're very passionate about, Tom, is taking that to the next level. So I'll do the meeting because I'm a connector, but you're really good at taking the notes, systemizing it so that you can eventually, we'll have a way of searching for a topic or an issue or feedback, and we'll have this beautiful historical log of lessons learned that's I think we talked about not something that you write down and you file it away and you never talk about it again. It becomes a living, breathing, dynamic tool.
Yeah, and I guess the challenge with that is how to make it accessible and just managing that knowledge so it's easy to find and easy to get out of the context where it sort of originated and be useful in other contexts. And maybe we do something where we revisit some of them every now and then and go back into the log and bring it up, or just a way so all these lessons that we have learned don't get lost and we can keep learning from them and applying them to new contexts.
I think that's a really good point because I think one of you mentioned you get into that busyness of projects that you kind of forget the lessons, you forget your experience sometimes, particularly when it's a high stress or intense period. So it could be a good anchor to go back and revisit them and check back in again. But I thought it was an excellent idea. I think it was your idea, Tom, to do a lessons learned session. In any case, you facilitated it, so well done. We'll report back with how we've gone with systemizing that and checking back in, and after we've done these for a few months, we'll let you know if it's working. But my hypothesis says it's a good tool and something that you should do. And it can be not just people in the same project, as we mentioned, people in multiple projects in the same space, maybe even in different organisations coming together. That felt like a shameless plug for the new roundtable. But do it, make the time, even if it's half an hour, it will be worthwhile to you and your project team. Thank you both. We'll see you for the next podcast episode.